suffocation. Another promise fading fast. Your eyes tell stories of darkness, secrets that my shadows cast. Alice in my veins, a burning ache. Alice in my veins, a touch of dread. Alice in my blood, welcome to my flood. Sunrise paints the window pane. Overslept and lost again. My hands reach out to hold you. Clutching smoke, I go right through you. Alice in my veins, here we go again. Alice in my head, beginning at the end. Alice in my blood.
Welcome to my flood.
Where did you go? The girl I thought I used to know. Just a ghost of a dream or memory. Doing to you what you do to me. Alice in my veins, a burning ache, a restless pain. Alice in my head, a touch of hope, a touch of dread. Alice in my blood, a cleansing flood. Alice in my veins, Alice in my veins, you
Check. Oh yeah. Check. There we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hi there on, I guess, Armageddon, Timu Armageddon Eve. Because I know a lot of people have been reacting to, on the right anyways, in the maggot sphere, that Donald Trump is the Antichrist. That's right. But if you haven't heard recently, according to Tucker Carlson, he's the Antichrist. Now, I would like to reassure you on several fronts that Donald Trump is by no means the Antichrist. And here's how I know. The Revelations describes him as, the character of who would be the Antichrist as being intoxicatingly good-looking, charming, and also has a knowledge of Scripture that goes beyond the deacons and what. So we're in the clear. I mean, Donald Trump couldn't quote Jesus wept without prompting. So I'm not really going to worry about it. I think he's, it's like the Antichrist didn't show up for work, so they sent a temp. And in the, the billion-year lifespan of the, multi-billion-year lifespan of the Earth, no deference to the creationists, because obviously what's 6 days to God, several billion years to us, that seems to make sense. I don't even know why that's a contradiction. Why would, even in the face of the madness that we're in. But hello, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Venmo, great way to support the show. I keep having a line come into my mind from, I think it was The Saint. Can't spend hard currency in hell. So, what have you got to lose? You know what I mean? A little tip for the end times, as we call it. That's how we're going to go. All right, excellent. Now, Mike is okay. Yes. There was some concern about that. Okay, so let me, you know what? I was going to start in with something else, but I do indeed want to start with Tucker's sort of Easter messagey thing. This is, okay, well, and screw that. I take it back. I'm not, because this just popped up in my timeline instantly. I don't know what this video is about. And I can't tell whether the person who's about to speak in this video is a pro or a con or somewhere in the Timcast IRL grayness. Yes, dig we must. Can you dig we must? Right. But apparently, I don't know. This you might be familiar with this young fellow. He's what we refer to as the dweeb Alex Jones. Everybody's trying to carve off a slice of that. But here's the message. It's time to say this directly to the president. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to hear what must be said, what must finally be delivered as a message to the president on the eve of him either nuking Iran or tacoing. These are our choices these days. And I would like to send tonight's show is I'm going to dedicate it especially to all those fuckwads who said that it was a coin flip between Harris and Trump and Genocide Joe and be no different. And the difference between the parties and the administrations are two legs in the same pair of pants and the lesser of two evils. You assholes can sit this one out for the rest of the century. It's a really good time to just come to terms with the fact that you're fucking stupid and that any choice you make is probably going to be the wrong one. So I'm not even asking you to vote for my side. I'm asking you to sit down and let the adults take responsibility from this point out. All right, so this is now I don't know if he's got a look on his face like he's actually in the middle of ball tanning, but I don't know that that's the fact. I think he looks a little sunburned, so maybe he just misread the instructions.
The president of the United States keeps laying down markers. You can't go past next Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Or it's 8 o'clock. I don't know. Maybe there was another one Tuesday, at 2 o'clock. I don't know. Maybe we missed that one as well.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Must open the strait, or else you'll be living in hell.
Yes, he keeps punting. Yes, we call it tacoing. It's common.
If we're not there already. And at a certain point, what we're doing is revealing that we've exhausted conventional power.
Oh, so he's gonna it's nuke or get off the pot? Is that where we're going?
There's some tricky way to open the Strait of Hormuz by air. Probably would have done it by now, because we are on a path to plunge the world into global depression and famine.
Yeah, but you act like that's accidental. I mean, all of us looking at Donald Trump during COVID even were like, yeah, this motherfucker's a recipe for disaster. And still you guys were like, I don't know, brown chick, scary.
And that's not hair on fire panicanism. That's math.
That's not math, actually. I don't know what it is. I guess it's strategic rambling, but it's what the fuck does that even have to do with math?
30% of the world's fertilizer, 20% of its energy?
Yeah. Right, but not 30% of our fertilizer and 20% of our energy. It's just a price thing for us. It's life and death for other people. And it very well may be that Donald Trump thinks that starving, 40 million Chinese people to death is leverage for a tariff war that he's got on deck. Would you put it past him? I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a global depression and famine.
Yeah, you saw how he handled COVID, asshole. Why would you think peacetime would be any different?
What happens to Africa? 1.5 billion sub-Saharan Africans without enough fertilizer? Well, a lot of them be living in the United States.
Oh, that's the scare. I see. I beg your pardon. I was sorry. I got baited by it. I can't believe it. I thought he was actually worried for their safety, for their lives. I thought he was going to say they're going to starve to death. No, he's like, the black people are going to come here. That's the scary part. Sorry, global depression and starvation, famine, and your big fear is eke a wave of brown people. Or sorry, I'm going to go straight up with black people. Like he's going sub-Saharan.
That's just going to happen.
I mean, what the fuck do you think they're going to do? Row here? Oh, it's Africa. They're probably going to go to Europe. I mean, how? I don't even know why I get sucked into actually arguing the merits of this fucking lunacy.
It's right across the Atlantic Ocean. Check them.
It's a long way. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump through, interminably deep, shark-infested waters. Yeah, it's, I don't even know why they haven't just walked here when it gets chilly.
So getting the strait open is the essence
of white supremacy. I got to tell you, I love that this fucker, that's the point of his panic. Time to say this directly to the president. Now, maybe, just maybe, this is Tucker at his manipulative best, and he's trying to communicate to Donald Trump in a way that he will hear it. He's not going to hear a bunch of Africans are going to die. He's not going to give a shit about that any more than Tucker does. He's not going to care that a bunch of Chinese people are going to die any more than Tucker does. But he will freak out at the idea that they're going to come here. Maybe that's the message maybe he's the Trump whisperer after all. Maybe that we're all missing this. You know what? I was taking offense to this as a human being. I didn't realize that this asshole was basically talking like, I know exactly what will get Trump not to do this. If you do this to Iran, we're going to be flooded with black people. Look, we can't have that. Call it off. Call off the bombs. Return the bombers. Bring us to DEFCON 1. I swear to God, I think he's hoping this message gets to Trump. That's what this is.
The mission. It is the strategic goal. By the way, not to be bitter, it was open on February 27th and
still bitter about it, Like it stings. I'm just going to say it stings.
Had been for, since there were pirates roaming the strait.
Well, I mean, a couple of times in between, it had been shut down for a little while, back when times you lovingly recall as, excuse to shit on Carter, for example.
For modern history, it had been open. Now it's closed because of this war. Okay, so there's that.
Yeah, okay. So there's that. Okay, we'll just put a pin in that for later.
But leave that aside. Okay.
I'm not going to leave it aside. It's kind of crucial.
That was then. How do we get it open?
Well, first we have to do it. Can we just use a flathead screwdriver and wedge it like a paint can? Or
conventional airstrikes will not open the strait.
Right. That's because it's a seaway and there's mines in the water. So you need submarines and minesweepers. In theory.
For very obvious reasons.
Yeah, the planes will get wet. Sorry, let me explain something to everybody real quick. Chat room, group hug. Come here. This is a very serious time and there's very serious issues. Totally out of our hands right now. So I refuse to allow fuckheads like this to throw a fishhook into my emotions and drag me around. Neither Trump nor Tucker has the power to do that. My happiness is not circumstance dependent. I'm a parent. I know how to do this. So So, no, asshole. I just want to see Tucker grind on how fucked up the world is that he helped get us to.
We can close it with minds.
We can close it with our minds. Sorry.
So if you reach the end of your conventional power,
then you must use spiritual power. Let's pray it open, shall we? Lord, bless us, those of us who have not been copulated with by a demon in a truck stop after dark when maybe our wife had been, asleep on a heavy dose of Ambien because of the noises I make when I sleep. But blessed be he who wants peace at the expense of other people and keep from our shores the word I shall not say, but just know that it's one that, well, how can I put this? That Dave Chappelle uses a lot. Amen.
Where does that leave you? Oh, with non-conventional power. What's that a euphemism for?
Psychic powers. Jewish space lasers. It means nukes is what it means.
Nuclear weapons.
Oh, yeah. See, that was going to be my third choice anyways, but yeah, I was going there.
And the effects of that hardly need to be explained. Well, they can't be fully known because modern nuclear weapons have never been used.
Well, maybe that's what Trump, now you've fucked up again. You almost had him convinced not to do it with the whole, there's going to be a bunch of black people coming here. You were well on your way. I feel like Hannibal Lecter. Oh, you were doing so well. If you were honest about the uncomfortable truth with MiGs. And now this ham-handed segue into nukes. Nobody's ever used them before. Guess what? Number one, people have been wanting to use these since Hirosaki and Hiroshima. So here it comes.
But you can just draw obvious conclusions, like life in Iran, not possible. So you wipe out a country of 92 million people. What about directly across the Persian Gulf?
You mean downwind?
What about the 7 other countries, all of them allies of the United States, the biggest oil-producing countries in the world?
Well, I guess in the way Trump is factoring it in, Iran would no longer exist, and they would be able to put out more oil or be freer to do whatever the fuck they want. Maybe the civilization he's seeking to end is Shia Islam on behalf of the Sunnis. Huh. Who does he golf with?
Do you live there? What about the 100-odd million people who live in those countries? Maybe not possible.
Sorry. So if we nuke Iran, it's not only black people that are coming here, but Arabs as well? Okay, somebody get on the red phone.
Well, for them either. Would a nuclear strike be followed by peace? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. The last one certainly wasn't, I guess.
The U.S. isn't the only country in the world with nuclear weapons.
What? Gee, it's almost like Israel has some, and if Iran got one, it would just be a stalemate like Pakistan and India.
You could have a global nuclear war. That's why we haven't used nuclear weapons in 80 years. No one has.
Right. Yeah. Who the fuck are you trying to convince? Other than, I guess this is just a postcard to Trump. This has to be.
Because you don't know where it goes from there. This is insane. Okay?
Yeah, he's fucking nuts. This isn't new.
This is insane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kamala Harris is a sane person. Fuck you, dude.
It's hard to believe you even need to say this out loud.
No, it's completely believable because you guys helped elect a dude who would inexorably drag us straight to this point, like we fucking said.
Oh, but you do.
Do I?
Because
he's listening?
All things being equal, that's where we're heading. And how do we know that? Well, there are a million signs.
Well, how many wonders are there, though? I mean, this is, we're talking about the end times, I think it has to be evenly distributed between signs and wonders, right? It's like wars and rumors of wars. There has to be an equal amount. Otherwise, it's just wars and a rumor of another war. that you really don't pay attention to because there's too many actual wars going on, or a war and a bunch of rumors of wars that make you nervous, but you really are still focused on this one. Does it math? That's what I want to know. Have we reached the proper equations for Armageddon?
But the most obvious is the dumbest neocons in Trump's orbit are saying it out loud.
Right, because Trump has given them permission to, you fuckhead, and you have. Why won't they lay this at Trump's feet? You say this action is insane, but you won't say that he's fucking insane for doing it. You gaping anus.
Now, in some cases, you don't even want to mention their names because these are not decision makers.
Right, Trump is. Maybe mention his name.
These people are very much like Jeffrey Epstein. They're not actually the evil mastermind. Jeffrey Epstein's kind of an idiot. He's an employee.
Oh, so he is alive.
Obviously. He's a
Obviously.
communications hub. He's to get the message out to your people.
Oh, who would be his people? Oh, Jews, right. Sorry, I forgot. I forgot that was the target. Anyways, yeah. But you know what? You're right. Better to blame all Jews on the planet because they basically started anything, according to Mel Gibson. And it's a way easier to blame an entire race and religion instead of just Trump, who actually fucking made the decision.
And it's the same with America's most prominent neocons. They're not making policy. They don't understand anything. They don't have huge audiences. They have no organic power.
Then why would some fucking moron hire them? Oh.
They're messengers.
From Israel. That's where we're going with this.
And flack takers.
Oh, so they bring you the message. You do what you want to do anyways. And then if you catch hell for the decision you made, you just shit on them. Right. Who would that person be that's giving out the flack?
They're the ones who get the abuse for the policies of others. Put some lunatic on TV. Rah! Everyone can hate him. But is he coming up with the plan? No, of course not. He's got to.
Of course not. Mark Levin is obviously getting instructions from an underground bunker in Israel run by an AI-generated version of Netanyahu.
Weekend show on Fox. But it's useful to watch.
He meant Levin. That's what it's interesting. I called it.
What he says. In fact, the president of the United States himself has said this. Watch Mark Levin on Saturday night. You think Trump is dumb?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, I think he's fucking stupid.
You think he's doing this to juice Mark Levin's ratings? No. It's not possible to increase the ratings of someone nobody wants to watch.
Sorry, that's the fight you think Trump is losing?
The point is to send a message. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's true.
I don't even know what the fucking theory is.
The Levin show, written probably not by Levin, which has almost no viewers, has been a place where the future is revealed in its broadest outline.
By the elders of Zion, maybe?
It's a place to test ideas.
Right. So Trump wants his ideas tested on Mark Levin's show?
It's a place to announce obliquely what's going to happen.
And Trump just is automatically going ahead with, not only going ahead with it, cheerleading it?
And his most recent show should get you sitting bolt upright in your chair. And yes.
Why? It's not even him writing it. Isn't this a plan that's 1,000 years old?
This ran this weekend, Easter weekend, as if the defiling of beauty couldn't be more obvious. Easter week, could you pick another weekend?
Well, they don't have time, really. I mean, we're in the middle of the war was supposed to be done by now, and it's not. So, I mean, it is the weekend, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Trump had time to golf, and he didn't go to church. But tell me about how Mark Levin was defiling the Sabbath.
To give the finger to Christianity other than Easter weekend. Apparently not. In fact, of course you couldn't. That's the point. Do it on Easter.
Well, I mean, it's Saturday. I mean, Easter's actually Sunday. I mean, Trump skipped it to go golfing, and then they did the egg roll on Monday because you get two with egg roll.
Anyone who will accept this will accept any humiliation. In any case, here's what Mark Levin said on his Easter weekend show about what we ought to do next in Iran. Watch.
And the casualty numbers, as horrible as any casualty is, need some context. Let's look at World War II.
Yeah, Trump did this. Trump said this exact shit. He was given the dates and deaths from other big wars as a way to excuse the timeline for his.
The Battle of the Bulge.
Look, I know that that's what it's known as historically, but I personally hear something else. It's just, you know, I'm a friendly guy who's open to people's lifestyle choices, and I'm just fucking around.
80,000 to 90,000 plus casualties.
I didn't realize a truck drove by as that soldier was in the trenches, and he was just like, "Oh, I can get him to honk his horn."
Deaths and injuries and so forth. Nearly 10% of all the casualties in World War II happened at the Battle of the Bulge near the end of the war. The Battle of Okinawa. 50,000 plus casualties, over 12,000, nearly 13,000 killed on that island, which is what convinced Truman that we would lose a million men if we didn't drop the atomic bombs that we did. So this is a war or a peace mission to stop.
Oh, sorry. A war or a peace mission. I mean, is there really a difference?
Nuclear weapons that can blow away millions of Americans.
And right, and that's our job apparently. I thought we destroyed that threat last year. I mean, like, why don't we just re-hit the sites where that shit was? Are we going to nuke those sites now so that they're too dangerous to go near? Is that the thinking? Jesus Christ, Hal, don't give them ideas.
Every bit as important as World War II. This is a crucially important military operation, war, call it what you want, peace.
No, call it a war. Yeah. Because legally it is, and Trump is avoiding calling it that so that he can circumvent Congress because he hates America and its legal system, its constitutional system, its separation of powers. Like, they all disgust him.
Mission. And we ought to be celebrating the success of our military, unifying around our military and our commander-in-chief.
Now, I remember this one. Is this a clip from the beginning of the Iraq War?
And urging them to complete the task so our country is safe from nuclear weapons.
Why would my urging them change a fucking thing? Even if I told them not to, it wouldn't have any effect. You see how this shit works, dummy?
By insane, suicidal primitives from the 7th century.
Did you catch that? Did you make it through the whole clip? It's not easy.
Well, it's not a clip. It was a bunch of clips, and you slapped them all together. So, I mean, I watch enough Mark Levin to know that he said a bunch of other ridiculous, dark, manipulative horseshit in between those things. But I also recognize that you did the exact same thing by scissoring stuff together. I watched the whole thing. Like, I don't even get how you supposed to break down. Never mind.
Easy, but embedded in there, and that's why we prefer a transcript over the actual audio.
Oh yes, the transcript of the cuts that you made.
Embedded in there is something you need to know. It's an argument that is being test driven, and since no one, to our knowledge, has pushed back against it, may be in full operation now. It's an argument for nuclear weapons against Iran. And here's to restate, in case you couldn't make it through the accent. Here's what he said.
Whoa.
Nearly 10% of all casualties in the Second World War happened at the Battle of the Bulge, which, of course, at the end of the war. The Battle of Okinawa.
Yeah, we watched it. Like, it's more painful listening to you read Mark Levin than it was listening to him say it, and that was terrible.
50,000 casualties, nearly 13,000 killed on that island, which is what convinced Truman, Harry Truman, the then president in 1945, we'd lose 1 million men if we didn't drop the atomic bombs that we did.
Yeah, but he means deaths of our soldiers, not the other way around. The convincing was that if we kept fighting in that situation, we would lose a lot of American soldiers. And I think what you're conflating this is that we have to, if the death toll in Iran reaches a certain point, we might as well. It's hard to tell, honestly.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, but I don't care. It's fucking Mark Levin. You just said nobody watches it, but somehow Trump is going to do it?
That's Mark Levin's counsel to our sitting president, Donald
That he is apparently taking.
Trump, right now. You are
right. He's taking his phone calls and not yours. So obviously, Mark Levin, master hypnotist.
looking at a choice between the catastrophic loss of your troops in a ground war or the use of nuclear weapons, which, in a sense, if you think about it, just think about it for a second, is actually an act of peace. It's an act of peace. The most humane thing you could do is to end this now with nuclear weapons. That's the case Mark Levin is making to the president, who just last week recommended that all Americans watch Mark Levin's show.
Okay, so maybe Mark Levin isn't writing a show. Maybe the White House is. Maybe they're test marketing this shit because Trump wants to test market this shit. Maybe your ire against Mark Levin has fucking nothing to do with Mark Levin except the fact that he's a Jew and it makes it an easier target for you. And what you're actually arguing about is that it sounds like, from the way you pointed out, that Trump's people drafted this statement to ease it into people's minds. What the fuck?
Okay.
Not okay.
This is not like crazy dot connecting here.
No, you're an idiot. This is literally A-B logic, but it breaks down in reverse because you can't imagine that A to B logic also works as B to A logic.
This is 1-to-1. This is really obvious.
Yeah, it so is. Except the part where who actually makes the decision? Say his fucking name.
Where we're moving.
Who's we, motherfucker? Where's Trump moving? We didn't vote on this shit. Congress didn't vote on this shit. It's not, Levin's calling it a war and Trump won't because of the legal ramifications. You're doing everything you can to excuse Trump's decision.
And again, we're moving toward the use of weapons.
No, we're not. No, we are not. We are not moving anywhere. Trump has either already made this decision and fuck it, or he'll taco. There's no we in any of this shit. I wouldn't even say the we includes Mark Levin based on your criticisms. What an asshole. Trump. He's singularly doing this. If nukes are dropped, it will be Trump's decision. No one else's.
Of
Good God. Imagine being this fucking weak. And I would like to say for the record that this asshole talks about you and I, in our, belief in Joe Biden or Obama or Clinton or fucking Carter as like we're subservient to them and can't criticize them and all sorts of horse shit, right? That Obama's basically a god that we worship. And none of us have ever had a problem dealing with our leaders on the Democratic side as human fucking beings. But somehow, this motherfucker, listen to him. There is no way he can lay this at Trump's feet. And he even excused Trump's intellect, made a defense of it. Of course, he's a smart guy, right? He's not dumb. But somebody's whispering in his ear. And he can't do anything about it. He's just that easy and fucking he just wants to do the right thing so badly that if somebody tells him it's the right thing, he'll just goddamn do it. What?
Indiscriminate mass destruction, possibly nuclear weapons, but non-conventional weapons. Not bombs dropped from the air or missiles launched from launchers, but the use of weapons that have never been used in war ever. And the argument is the same argument that you heard in 1945, or didn't hear, by the way, if you're an American civilian. No one ever cuts you in on this. Thank you.
Fuck are you talking about?
Heaven for Mark Levin saying it out loud so the rest of us can at least follow along and know what we're in for and implicated in. But the argument that it's actually much more humane to kill tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of civilians.
All right, this is just fucking silly. Okay, he just posted that a couple of minutes ago, and the deadline for this horseshit is coming up at 5 o'clock. at about the the time my show is normally over. So I guess I'll stay on the air for Armageddon, I suppose. But we shall see what we shall see. Meanwhile, the belief system across the board right now, where like here's bend over, ready for war, and you think I put out some silly AI slop images occasionally for fun? At least mine are absurd. Ready for war? America's Doomsday plane flies to terrifying new location. Going nuclear? Where's it going? Little St. James or big? I guess it can't land there. Big St. James? Is that the new, like, NORAD for Trump? This is reassuring. Can you dig it?
It will soon be doomsday for Iran. Does that also mean doomsday for the United States of America? We'll
Gee, I don't know. Maybe, let's discuss it.
explain here in just one moment. Donald Trump is...
Yes, please explain whether it's going to be doomsday for America. I'm fairly certain most of us feel very comfortable about, you being the conduit by which truth arrives at our doorstep.
said that Tuesday at 8
Warriors, come out to play! This Hegseth drunk off his ass.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he is sending Iran back to the Stone Age. Here we go. In a very eloquent Truth Social post, Tuesday will be power
I think that's verbal irony, if not sarcasm, if I'm not mistaken.
plant and bridge day, all wrapped up into one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking straits, you crazy bastards, or
He says fucking. He actually he takes the G off and does an apostrophe. So he's like hip.
you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, says Donald Trump.
It's so funny on Easter.
The praise be to Allah troll is really something spectacular.
Citation needed that it was a troll.
Anyway, Donald Trump followed that up with another threat here saying it's over unless you agree to peace terms. A peace deal fell apart this morning, allegedly. Apparently, the team is working furiously on it, but Donald
Are they? Sorry, they're passing notes to children?
Trump from the White House press day
We
today.
have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock. And it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. We may even get involved with helping them rebuild their nation.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to have to.
And you know what?
If you ever want to leave the country again.
That's the case. The last thing we want to do is start with power plants, which are among the most expensive thing, and bridges. You saw the bridge one. We were very close.
So Donald Trump is saying, okay.
Yeah, we heard what he said. It's insane gibberish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Violent, unchristian-like, unconstitutional, un-American, hateful garbage disguised as deal-making.
this might be what we have to do. He also talking about how Barack Hussein Obama practically handed them a nuclear weapon.
By getting them to sign a deal where they didn't pursue one, and then Trump tore it the fuck up so they could.
And that got us thinking, like,
Us?
exactly where is the Doomsday plane, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. Every time somebody says Barack Obama's name, I'm immediately like, get me on the Doomsday plane.
There's a road to a nuclear weapon. Iran has nuclear material. And we saw this headline. Lo and behold, right when we started thinking about that,
Wow, it's like Instagram's just listening on your phone.
Trump's Doomsday plane spotted circling U.S. Nuclear War Command Center as Iran rejects ceasefire. Oh, no. Oh, no. What's going to happen here?
I can't tell if he's being ironic or attempting to shrug this off, because, I mean, he'd have to do the unthinkable, which is go against Trump to stick with his own ethics and beliefs and what he's been saying. So he's kind of stuck in this, maybe it's all bullshit area.
Let's go ahead and see.
Yeah, let's, it just happened. Read it to us.
President Trump's emergency command aircraft is currently circling above the U.S. base of America's Nuclear Command Center. The Boeing E-4B Night Watch, also known as the Doomsday plane, made several loops above the Outfit Air Base Center in Nebraska. This is the massive jet that serves as a flying command post for top officials, including the vice president. You can see
who's in Hungary. So Trump sent him overseas for Doomsday.
Looks like here. It's a spooky looking plane.
Yeah, super scary. Yeah, it looks so unplane like.
Right? This is the Doomsday plane. It has everything that you would
it looks like a regular plane, but with a whale's blowhole on top.
ever need if you were going to be flying at the time of some type of horrible, event, I suppose, right?
Yeah, you suppose.
Here's the guided tour of the Doomsday plane. Goodness. All right. Let's go ahead and see. What does it look like? Very Doomsday, right?
No, I think it's easy to sponge off is how it works because, some people might, be late to catch the plane and the parts of their body might be boiling or shredded.
Okay. I guess we've got a...
You don't believe they're showing you the real one, do you? And by the way, unfortunately, the real Doomsday plane that Trump's going to be on can't even take off because he had everything gold plated.
Right. We got a briefing room here. We've got the command
with easy to wash seats.
Center and call centers. This is from 12 years ago, so presumably it's been updated.
Yeah, everything's got Trump's name on it.
But anyway, this is, of course, where you would be in a...
Melania put in one of those, hair washing stations.
Nuclear event.
Or nuclear.
Something that we certainly don't want to see.
So how certain are you?
What is the EB-4 Night Watch? The Doomsday plane is a highly modified U.S. air...
Yeah, we get it, fuckwad. What's the big... Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
To stay aloft for extended period of time.
Yeah, we know what it fucking is, dummy.
Like, yeah. Very interesting times. This is what the plane itself looks like.
Yeah, it looks like most military stations.
Like, yeah, it has sort of a funny little knob up top.
Watch what you're calling funny looking.
And it's been flying around. You can actually track it live. Like right here. You can see that it is flying currently right south, right over Lexington, Kentucky. There it goes.
Let me call my mom and have she can tell my sister to wave. Jesus. Oh, Trump caved? Trump has agreed to ceasefire. Dun, dun, dun. Hold on.
Chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Taco, taco, go taco, go taco. Raise your taco, 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 go taco, go taco. Raise your taco.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Armageddon has been put on hold for at least, I guess, another, 2 weeks? Let's see. Trump has choked. He is tacoed officially. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the clear. All right. Back to just white-knuckling everything else about our government for the time being. It was always bluster and bullshit. President Trump has caved on his latest threat against Iran, abandoning yet another deadline as his ultimatums lose their teeth. 79-year-old president has threatened to wipe out a whole civilization and bomb Iranian bridges and power plants if Tehran didn't open up the strait by 8 p.m. Eastern. Well, it's still closed. Based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir, I guess, of Pakistan, and wherein they requested, and wherein? Oh, he must have cut somebody else out. So there's like 3 dudes, and this one just said, leave me out of it. And wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agreed to suspend the bombing attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks.
Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Taco, taco, go taco, go taco. Raise your taco, 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 go taco, go taco. Raise your taco.
All right, so where was I? Yes. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already... Okay, it's done. I don't know what your fucking problem is. We already won anyways. Reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East, which I thought we already had and was eternal, but I must have misheard him. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran. So, shit they wanted and shit we wanted, we agreed to it. And including us getting all of our bases out of the Middle East and reparations. But a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. Oh, he's going to fuck these people? All right. Well, hey, look, whatever it takes to seal the deal.
I love that feeling. Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Pants and thongs and vests and thongs. Whoa, I love that feeling. Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Yay. Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Basta.
You know, when all this shit's over, that's going to be a huge goddamn hit. I insist. I hope it's played in every gay club in this country and Canada and most of Latin America and the underground clubs in the Middle East, but not as loud. Obviously. Okay, so, and also on behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East. Sorry, he's representing the countries of the Middle East. I see. It is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I'm going to call bullshit on this. Marks the 4th time the commander-in-chief has extended his thus far unfulfilled deadline threats against Iran. Later, Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said Trump would respond to Pakistan's proposal to extend the deadline for Iran to reach a deal by 2 weeks. And I got to say, 2 weeks doesn't sound like bullshit at all. I mean, when have we ever heard Donald Trump talk about, stuff being 2 weeks away? It's funny. All the times he says it. Yeah.
We're going to make a policy speech in 2 weeks, and I think you're going to like it. We're going to be announcing something, I would say, over the next 2 or 3 weeks that will be phenomenal in terms of tax. Wiretap covers a lot of different things. I think you're going to find some very interesting items coming to the forefront over the next 2 weeks. We'll be reporting back sometime over the next 2 weeks as to NAFTA. I'll be making a big decision on the Paris Accord over the next 2 weeks.
What about infrastructure? When is that going to happen?
We're going to do infrastructure very quickly. We've got the plan largely completed, and we'll be filing it over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
When will you make that decision?
Over the next couple of weeks. We're doing very well in the fight against ISIS, as General Mattis has just explained, and we're going to be having a news conference in about 2 weeks to let everybody know how well we're doing. And the mines are starting to open up. We're having a big opening in 2 weeks. We've had tremendous success against ISIS in our fight in the Middle East. We're doing very, very well. We're going to be having a news conference in 2 weeks on that fight. Our Secretary of Labor is coming out with a plan in 2 weeks. You're going to have some big news.
So, pardon me if I'm not impressed. And also, I like fucking who cares? There's gonna be some sort of real plan in 2 weeks. It's just stupid. Okay. Which is good because we can shift back to apparently. Sorry, Timcast IRL. It all ends tonight. This was his thing. It all ends. Trump threatens massive destruction of Iran. This is the.
Tonight, a civilization will die. Donald Trump threatening to obliterate Iran if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, you can't, obliterate the country, technically speaking. You can't erase its existence. You can only obliterate the civilization by murdering the vast majority of people. So much so that, by the way, there is no one left to reconstitute that version of civilization, So, yeah. Maybe that's why he needs another 2 weeks.
With some suggesting he's prepared to use nuclear weapons.
Okay, so this is the whole, if he does anything short of nukes, it's a win. By the way, no one is sadder than Lady Lindsey right now. Blow him up. Graham warns Trump will end regime one way or another. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one way.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. A lot of people think that,
which, by the way, still baffles me.
You're a hawk, and in many ways, you are.
No, I'm fairly certain he's a hedgehog. Sorry.
You believe
I would never look at that man and say, hawk energy.
Radical Islamic terrorists are
in the same way that I look at Sean Hannity and I would go, not a middle finger, definitely a thumb.
An existential threat to the world. I agree with you on that point. But even you put out, you are praying for a deal. You want this deal to go through.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll know pretty soon, won't we, by 8 o'clock tomorrow? Sure, I'd prefer a deal. And what's the goal of the deal is to make sure Iran cannot be the largest state sponsor of terrorism like they were for 47 years.
How do you do that? If they ever have an economy again, unless you think being the state sponsor of terrorism, the greatest state sponsor of terrorism is a growth industry. Are they jockeying with North Korea or China or Russia?
They can't have it.
By the way, they're a proxy of Russia in this shit. So wouldn't that make Russia the top dog, the top dollar in this?
Missile program that can affect Europe or the United States.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Miss Lindsay. I'm too excited over the black and white / night vision shots of trucks exploding. It's my favorite thing.
And they forever will be denied.
It tells me so much about what's really happening there.
A nuclear weapons capability. The Strait of Hormuz not only has to be open, it can never be controlled again.
I don't know how it works. When RFK Jr. starts mandatory prostate checks to find out Democrats, you'll call him out and be like, oh, you think somebody checking my prostate scares me? I got to tell you, nothing scares me.
Moon River.
Bring it on.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
I'm not scared of anybody.
Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
All right. This is what it means to be secure in your sexuality. It's something these assholes know nothing about.
And by Iran. All the 60% uranium has to be taken out of Iran. There can't be 1 ounce of this 60% grade uranium.
How about 2 ounces of 55? I'll see you down there. How do you want to put it? How about 4 grams? Do I get 4 grams of 42% enriched uranium and 5 centrifuges sold to the dipshit?
Left in Iran, that would be a bad outcome. They could make a dirty bomb or one day enrich to 90%. So
I got to say, Dirty Bomb sounds like a great album title.
My goal is to get it right. I'd prefer diplomacy, but if we have to use military force, we're going to do it. The one thing Trump has tried to do is get it right. Everybody
That's hilarious.
Talked about it, but nobody did a damn thing.
Well, and we're still in the exact same position. All this shit, no difference. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Except the strait is closed. That's it. Everything's exactly the fucking same.
Trump has done it right. Their military has been obliterated. The goals.
So now they have no other choice but to use terrorism and suicide bombers and shit like that. They can't even stave off an invasion by somebody, so they've got to start committing acts of horror and terrorism in the Middle East all over the place.
Of no nukes, no missiles, no state sponsor of terrorism. We're inside the 10-yard line.
No missiles.
As to the Strait of Hormuz, right now they're charging ships, the IRGC, the
in what?
Iranians, to go through the straits, and they're taking the yuan, not the dollar. One threat of this whole debacle is if we start allowing
the yuan, it's Y-U-A-N in pinyin in English. Yuan. It's not the won. They're not counting to 4 to start a song in Desi Arnaz's band. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3.
The Chinese currency to be traded in oil, that will hurt the dollar. In 1974, every barrel of oil sold and traded in the world is traded in dollars. Now, what are the Iranians trying to do? They're trying to change the currency from a dollar to a Chinese yuan, and that's an attack on the dollar. And that
that's them fighting words. We should nuke them just for that.
That needs to end too. So,
Jesus Christ. So, how about this? They charge people in yuan, and then we sanction China for to the level that they are making people pay to go through the strait. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm very optimistic that President Trump's going to bring this regime to an end one way or the other.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you. All right. So, anyways, like this is just a loop. This is a doom loop. Now, where? Oh, yes. So this, yeah, we already saw it. Like Tucker's freak out. There has now. I'm sure that Stephen Chowder, he is a madman. A whole civilization. Blah, blah, blah. I got to tell you, I don't know if he's reacting to this legitimately or he just thinks, like, now that we know Trump has tacoed again, if this was all facetious or he will pretend that it was. I don't know. I haven't watched this. I don't pre-watch this shit. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Don't forget to subscribe to the Substack. And also, can I, wait, before we move on to this, I don't normally do ads, but this is not really one because it's for me. Let's see. I have a new single out today, and I played it on the show, but now it's available online. Hold on. Open link in news. Yeah, that's what I want. It's Apple Music is being a drag. They're being slow to release it because I kind of rushed it out. But Blue Marble is now available on my band's YouTube page, 01. And so subscribe over there, I guess, as well. And yeah. So, and I'm making a lyric video for it. It's from the album I'm putting out in June called The Sisyphus Years, which has all my 90s songs on it that I wrote. It's on Spotify. There you go. Was that the first song you were playing? No, the first song I was playing is one that's going to be on that album as well. I'm still making some changes to it. So some of these you will hear them on the live stream before I've completed them, because I'm doing some edits and moving some stuff around and being an indecisive musician as you do. But let me grab the link and I will put it in our chat with you guys if you want to listen to it. There you go. And enjoy, if you would. And there you go. You saw what I did here. Listen here, right? So yeah, so I'm putting a bunch of those together, like songs that I've had for a while, and then that one I want redacted. Okay. I'm re-recording that one with my voice. Is that okay? Might be weird. I think the original is okay. I'll put that out too. But an artist never what? Sorry, never stops. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You should at some point. I played on your post. Great tune. Thank you so much. You want bullshit? Okay. Yay! Found it on Spotify. Excellent. So, anyways, I'm gonna be releasing other tracks leading up to that. Probably a tune a month, as it were, leading up to the album itself. And so spread it around. I'm not on Shitter anymore, obviously, and NASA isn't on Blue Sky. So if you guys want to share it with NASA and NASA's socials, because I wrote it for them, yes, he tacoed. We're fine. Assuming the world keeps spinning, that's how I act. I will always, perceive as such. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Andrea. Yay! So there you go. You'd rather watch you live? I understand. You want redacted as well? Okay. Yeah. Put the show songs on SoundCloud. I want to make music videos for them. Okay. That's a great idea, actually. I put one on my SoundCloud a bit ago, and then I lost my sign-in for it because I haven't used it in forever. But it is on YouTube Music, yeah. Your Iron Man rendition was, oh, thanks. I was very proud of that. Yeah. So, yeah. And it'll ditch shitter faster than a fart in a windstorm after a Dem president's in charge. I completely agree. How do you stay so positive and keep creative? I'm turning into a turtle. It's a good question. Because I insist. Because some of the as many of you know, I love the 80s, and one of the things about it that people forget is that my teenage years, especially when I was in high school and just starting to get laid, thank you very much, was the epic, volcanic center of the AIDS crisis kicking into full gear, right as I was becoming sexually active, which was a nightmare, and the Cold War, and this kind of build up to the, was the wall going to come down, or were we going to nuke each other? It was bad. It was bad a lot. So, but there was a lot of fun creativity that happened in response to that. And I think it was a natural reaction. Already have a great mock-up edit for bullshit. Oh, right on. Yeah, and I'm a Libra. Right. that should explain it. Okay. So excellent. So I gotta say, this is how I live. I have to, I wrote a song about my dad recently, and I shared it with a couple people, and because I'm not sure I can release it yet emotionally, because I can't. I had to sing it in pieces. I mean, you do when you're tracking a song, anyways. You sing it in parts and whatever. But I can't sing it all the way through without crying like a baby. So maybe I'll have that one will be, I think, on the Seismograph album, which I'm working on with Johnny Million, probably. So maybe a little time will pass between now and then. Is this the real life? Right. So anyways, I've been in a big songwriting frenzy lately because it is my way of distancing myself from this awful and still being what I would say is, emotionally and artistically productive. Right? So, and what is the playlist under in YouTube? There's not a playlist yet? Yeah. We're patient. Thank you. Yeah, Seismograph is spelled funny. It's SYZ. Whoops. I can do it. Yeah. It's spelled like this. So some songs are unlistenable for me because emotions in too soon. Yeah, totally. There's some songs I don't. Yeah, we know he tacoed again. We're good. That's kind of why we can relax now, I suppose. Billy Bragg said, safe sex doesn't mean no sex, just means use your imagination. Yeah, we saw the new ceasefire. There you guys are. I'm just so you can see what I'm looking at. So I guess we can talk about the other insanity that's going on. That's nice, like how Rob Schneider shit the bed at CPAC doing stand up. And I don't know why, because he was hitting all the racist, bigoted, self-involved Hollywood fuckhead beats.
Thank you so much. Oh, so they got a new woman on The View. Have you heard? Jimmy Kimmel is going to join the cast.
See, that joke's funny because the women on that it's an all-woman show, and because Jimmy Kimmel is feminine because he cares about shit and doesn't like Trump, which makes him weak like a woman, and therefore he can be a host on the all-female show because being a woman is weaker than being a man. So the root of that joke is that this UFC champion over here is mocking the masculinity of another comedian. Well, another comedian. I'm sorry. That's not fair to Jimmy Kimmel.
How are you? Thank you so much for being out here. Appreciate it. Well, I'll tell you, something happened when I was able to get lunch. I just got off the plane from Europe. And we went
very impressive
out to a place here in town in Dallas. And the waiter was a little nervous. And I said to him, and he's a Mexican guy.
Okay, so this is going to be good.
And I said, are you okay? And he said, Mr. Snyder, I'm just a little nervous because...
By the way, for the record, he is doing Lenny Bruce's impression of a Latin American person. Let me show you. So some people create their own impressions based on people they've actually interacted with. These people would be called comedians, and they observe things in the real world, and then they create their own character. Let me show you. Lenny Bruce, the Bull, if I may.
See, I can explain. Why are you going to take the Bull?
Okay, so this is a bit from Lenny Bruce on the Steve Allen show a long time ago. But I'll show you this real quick and see if you see what I'm talking about.
Might be your kid who walked in that day. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Hello, Mr. Schindler.
Oh, that's the end of Airplane Glue. That's another bit.
And what else offends me? Some motion pictures. Yeah, the motion pictures, that's the thing that I don't like, Exploitation for just the sake of exploiting. Motion pictures that exploit race relations without ever saying anything. I don't feel Hollywood has ever, maybe with the exception of Home of the Brave, really touched on a good picture that came out and said some issues that were important,
Which, by the way, the lead into this is kind of ironic, especially considering how racist Rob Schneider is being.
Typical brotherhood film. Hey, Skits, lay some Spanish music on me, like anything. That's weird. All right. Miguel, 3 years old. It's the hour of truth. They're taking the bull away, the bull he raised, the bull he loves. We hear Miguel talking to his father. Why are you going to take the bull away? I love him. Not my bull, not your bull. Sometimes you stick the bandolero on him and kill my mujer. Todo el mundo es telefónica en España. That's my bull. Puy, I don't like you. I told you, I'm not your son. Don't call me your son. Because you kill my bull. My son, if you don't understand. No, how can I understand that you kill him? That's all I know. Miguel, if you don't see, I can explain to you. If you say to kill this bull will mean $3,000 your American money. Kill him.
Okay, so that's the joke. It's a good old bit from Lenny Bruce. And now, if I may, let's go. Where were we? Let me go back to this shit. Where was it? I'll find it. This is all these clips I have to have open at any given time. Oh, yeah, here it is. So,
I am not here legally, and I'm afraid that ICE is going to take me back to Mexico.
all right, and that's why he's doing the Castilian lisp, because he didn't get it from talking to a Mexican person. It's because, yeah. So,
And I felt like, wow, that's awful. Because these are the people that we want in this country. You know, people are working really hard. Then he completely screwed up my lunch. He was like, get this guy out of here. You can't screw up lunch. That's the most important meal of the day. Right. My favorite, it's my favorite thing, my favorite comedy now is Instagram. Mexican guys crying. Have you seen that?
fuck. Anyways, so nothing really sells that you're doing amazing comedy on your own, like like copying jokes from an Instagram account that isn't yours. Okay. Anyways, the reason I show you that, and I apologize, is because he was on Newsmax talking about how his rules for comedy. I'm always willing to learn. I think we all need, a lesson in what it means to be truly funny. And here we are.
They go, well, yeah, we got some bad news there. We reviewed the special again. We'd like to take out the Muslim joke. I got a big joke about Muslims. And I go, huh, why? And they go, well, last time a comic did a Muslim joke, we got bomb threats, we got death threats. I go, well, I like the joke. It kills. It's a hot joke. And, no one touches Muzz.
It used to be transgender people. Now it's Muslims.
Yeah, damn. Now it's Muslims.
Apparently, you can make jokes about anything else except Muslims in this country. That was.
By the way, it kind of matters what joke you're making.
Comedian Mark Norman claimed.
Also, you have to be really funny, because almost anyone in the world, even if they're being made fun of, you're like, damn, that's well put together. That joke snaps.
That Netflix wanted all Muslim jokes taken out of his Netflix special, but
no, not all Muslim jokes. That apparently he had one Muslim joke that they wanted taken out specifically, and it was a beat or an entire, I guess, bit that he was running that seemed kind of maybe they could edit it and it wouldn't affect the rest of the special, which means it's kind of out of place to the special, which means maybe it should just live on your fucking Insta page.
He could do jokes about Jews and Catholics and white people and black people, gay people.
Well,
disabled people, just no Muslim jokes. Actor and comedian Rob Schneider has been a critic of this kind of thing for a long time. Rob, good to have you.
Yeah, he can't make jokes about anything. I mean, it's a skill thing, but
back. And don't you think that maybe it's a little bit ironic that we don't want them comedians making jokes about radical Islam because we're afraid that radical Islamists will blow us up? That's what this is about.
Well, it's not we. I think it's the company themselves. I mean, like in general, we as Americans feel like we should be able to joke about anything. But I think a company that has employees and you're sort of a temp because they're hiring you temporarily to do a special and they're not keeping you on the tit. They're going to go, all right, while you're working for our company, keep it on the, within these boundaries because we're trying to reach the broadest audience and sell a bunch of shit. And that's how they operate.
Well, it's Islamophobia seems to be a rational fear of people who are likely to kill you. So I think it's a rational. I think
Okay, I know why Rob Shittery laughed at that, but it wasn't because it was a joke.
It is something that the streaming service said, we'll have any other joke, but we can't have that because there's a.
Well, I got to say, you don't know about all the other comedians that have done jokes that they've told to fucking shut up about, and that those people want to work for Netflix again or think they have a contract to do multiple ones, and they just don't bring it up. A myriad of jokes. Some of them just either, too gross or out of place or whatever. Like, they ask you to cut stuff all the time. I mean, they didn't have to with me, but I've heard about it. The day I did my special for Showtime, there were like 8 other specials being filmed because that's how they do. They crank them out. And they had a bunch of people like coming in there and making notes.
You
have to present your entire act to the network for a reason because they're putting it out. If you don't want those kind of limits, fucking set up a camera in the back of a comedy club and put it out yourself.
Genuine rational fear that these people could, are likely to, and have in the past killed people for things
they have
like
a long track record of
cartoons
doing
about
so.
the Muhammad.
Also, it's all deference. Christians and Jews don't.
Yeah,
oh my God, Candy! Thank you for the gift memberships. That's lovely.
Just ask the author of
Salman Rushdie, the Satanic Verses.
The Satanic Verses. To see how long the grudge.
What was his name again?
Against them they had. I mean, I think the Ayatollah had it in 19.
Yeah, but that wasn't a comedy book. But yeah, we get it. And the Ayatollah is not Muslims, right? I mean, did he, maybe it's my mistake. Maybe it was a specific joke about a particular sect of Shia Muslims and a couple of those, radical Sunni rascals in there as well.
1979 or 1980, put out a fatwa on him. I know. And,
you think Charlie Hebdo, right?
And Charlie Hebdo, they
that was
killed
serious.
Everybody in Paris that wrote that's the comedic.
No, they didn't kill everyone in Paris that wrote for Charlie Hebdo. They shot the place up. It was a radical person. It wasn't, by the way, there's 1 billion Muslims in the fucking world. All but 6 of them had nothing to do with that. See what I mean?
The card.
But you know what? Just go ahead.
Tune that featured.
Why do comedians steer clear of Muslim jokes? Because they're the guys that tell Muslim jokes aren't funny enough to make the jokes they want to tell funny because they're more angry than they are talented.
Muhammad. So I think like you can see it. There's a certain, I wouldn't say cowardice. I would say a certain rational.
It sounds like cowardice.
Fear of the reality that these are, and Mark Norman said, he said, well, I want you to admit to me that the reason you're doing it is because these people are violent. Just admit that. And they're like, we're not going to.
Right, right.
I want you to admit it.
That's what it's about. They don't want like threats to Netflix, corporate headquarters. That's what it.
Mm-hmm. Right. So what's stopping him from leaving that joke out of that special, taking the money that he made and doing an entire special on his own? And just, I don't know, how much does it cost these days to film one? $80?
It's about. And it reminds me, it was 3 years ago. It was Dave Chappelle, that special on Netflix, where they didn't want him talking about trans people. He talked about trans people, and it's still the #1 comedy special in Netflix history.
Yeah, it wasn't that they didn't want him talking about trans people. The topic isn't the problem.
So all of a sudden, comedians can start making jokes about trans people. Now it's Muslims, but it's for a really dark reason, and nobody wants to talk about that.
Well, again, what does that have to do with all the Muslims who don't threaten people's lives and who don't do this? The vast majority. That would be the problem with it. Although I haven't actually heard the joke. So maybe they just don't understand the concept and they're afraid someone will misinterpret it and get all mad at Netflix for that joke. Or maybe it's just awful. Could it possibly be that? I'm just going to go out on a limb here and go, okay, there's a possibility that the joke is awesome and hilarious and balanced and logical and has a sort of everyman common sense to it. Or, and that by the way, and that could be misinterpreted as unfair or unduly racist, bigoted, what have you. Or it's not as funny as the topic is heavy. And it's just a lazy edge comics attempt at trying to get street cred for a joke that didn't earn its keep. Because that happens.
No, there should be no off limits for any humor.
Yes, there should be. Yeah, there is an off limits for humor. It's, is it funny? really funny. Funny enough that even people that might disagree with you about whatever the topic is still understand that it's a joke and that it's funny on its merits. If it isn't, then you're not really telling a joke. You're griping with fellow whiners, or your audience is just so on the page that they're laughing at the concept because you dare bring it up, which is fucking lame.
But I think it's a bigger sign that culturally, the West is fearful of these people, and we give in to that sort of. It's a terrorism. Is really what it is. So you got to give into it, otherwise we will hurt you, and we will make it difficult. That's why you have the South Park that made a career after making a Jesus versus Santa Claus cartoon, and nobody threatened to blow them up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they've gotten death threats over their portrayals of Jesus.
Never told by Comedy Central that they couldn't make fun of Jesus. So you have a kind of a red line in the sand, and it's for these people who will get violent.
Okay, again. Netflix appears wary of Muslim joke, singular, in comedy special. Listen, there have been lots of Muslim jokes in Netflix comedy specials. Lots of them. I guess those made it in because they're funny, even if they ethically cross a line. So anyways, lazy and stupid. Also, it's bringing on Rob Schneider to talk about comedy is like when they bring on Dean Cain to talk about acting. Bless his little Superman heart. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. The world was going to end. Right. A whole civilization.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will.
Horrible wording. Can happen. President Trump's post gave people ammunition. Whole civilization, horrible wording. The IRGC is not a civilization. I think if you take...
Yeah, but he didn't say bombing the IRGC out of existence. I think that's the strategic purpose of almost all the attacks so far.
In its totality, it's pretty clear that he is talking about the regime. That is who we have targeted. Do you really think we're at World War?
Yeah, but if the regime is threaded through the entire country, how do you get him?
And do you really?
That's why he chickened out, because there's no way to actually meet the goal without mass genocide. And even he is too chicken shit for that.
You think that President Trump is going to be dropping a nuke on Iran? I know some people do. And I will say with this Truth Social, again, in trying to be fair-minded, it didn't help the case.
No.
But then I want to provide some context, because we do also at a certain point have to be adults and go, wait a second.
Trump always bullshits. He's always lying. He always makes stuff up. It's always bluster. He never knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Would there be something out there that may counterbalance this? It's obviously ill-advised to say civilization.
Yeah.
It's certainly
regime
very much ill-advised to say whole civilization. But has he repeatedly been reiterating that the regime kills its own people and the people actually are the ones who want liberation? Now, I'm not saying that that's our job.
Right, but it is now. Again, this is you're going to see a bunch of these folks, including Alex Jones, who apparently this did have some kind of impact on Trump, because Trump used the legal definition in his public pledge to commit total genocide against Iran. And Alex Jones asked for the 25th Amendment against Trump for threatening what he threatened. And in 2 weeks, we'll be right back here again.
Genocide is the destruction of a culture, a civilization, a people.
Yeah, welcome to the party, pal.
That have unique traits.
Well, thank you.
And so when Trump came out...
Which would be what?
And said in multiple posts yesterday today on Truth Social
that
we'll destroy... A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. And other similar statements.
and other similar statements. Yes.
It's the definition of terrorism to say, do what I say, unconditional surrender, or I will destroy you all. So Trump's like, total surrender. And total surrender in the law books means we can kill you all after you surrender. And
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, it does not. It doesn't. There's no part in the Geneva Convention which says, look, you can't rape the people, you can't gas them and murder them, you can't throw any babies in wood chippers unless they surrender. And then, in which case, we're all feudal Japan. We're all, imperial Japan. Yeah, the weakness is only shown in surrender. So
Tucker said that because he's a scholar. Look it up, what total surrender means. And they went, oh my God, he's insane. They're claiming, Trump's going to destroy them all. And now Trump has.
Yeah, no, that's not what he said. He said that unconditional surrender means our soldiers get to rape your women. And with the idea that ours would. That's why people blew back against it. It doesn't matter. You're both fucking morons.
Said that. See, these military pennants and symbols, they all mean things as international communication.
Sure, but I don't think unconditional surrender has meant mass rape and genocide for at least, 15 years.
So when you say total surrender, it means you just give up. Total unconditional means you will do whatever we say and we may kill you all. A whole civilization will die.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it means. It's also, these guys are, if you're that concerned, maybe rethink your support for Trump and recognize that the mistake you made was so goddamn bad that you should just quit media and fuck off forever. Go get a job flipping pancakes in Montana for all the good that you've done, getting us into this situation where this conversation even has to fucking happen. Because I got to tell you, it was not a surprise to any of us. It's like women losing their right to choose and acting like, oh my God, do you believe what happened with the Supreme Court right now? That decision was made when people went to the voting booth in 2016. That's when the elimination of a woman's right to choose happened, not when the Supreme Court decided it. That was decided in the election of 2016. And we had another bite at that apple after, while Biden was in office to try and remedy it. And it happened again. And it didn't happen because the Supreme Court, went against the tide of law, or whatever. It's because it was stacked to do that on purpose by Donald Trump, aided and abetted by all the people who were like, I don't know, fuck her. She's probably a neocon anyway. You know how women get. Right? Is Alex sober? I don't know what you call that, but it isn't sober. I don't think the tacoing will make these guys feel any better because the praise be to Allah thing is apparently upsetting Nick Fuego over here.
Is this post yesterday on Truth Social from the president. And we're going to talk a little bit about the significance of it in a minute.
You mean it being on Easter?
From the point of view of the conflict and how it's unfolding and where all this is going to go. But in the first place, I do just want to read the...
Also, for the record, presumes the items not presented as evidence that there is thought, that there is a plan that can unfold or a situation that can unfold instead of just being a fucking knot of Christmas lights, which seems like this will be, and that anything that's going to happen has any kind of strategic weight to it.
Post because...
Again, just because it's stupid doesn't mean it's not the plan.
As other people have pointed out, there's something really striking about it. So this is what our president posted on Truth Social yesterday on Easter Sunday.
By the way, in all due respect, he didn't go to church, so maybe he just forgot it was Easter Sunday. Oh, right, he never goes to church. Shit. But Maybe one of his golf buddies dared him.
He said, quote, Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Trump.
Now, if you had Nick Fuentes 2 years ago having to read this out loud on his broadcast from a message from Donald Trump, if you had that on your bingo card, I'm impressed. I'm sure they're all shocked. I'm very excited for all of them that these are new experiences for young Nick. You know, this is like when he, first discovered masturbation or The Stranger, which, changed the direction of his life, clearly, and not in a good way. This is new territory for him. Okay. He's emotionally delicate, and it's hard for them to, someone in this position to process, things that are just, catching up to, them in life. This is you live sheltered in this fabricated high-rise thing that you made, which, by the way, very impressive. Excellent. That is putting a Home Depot credit card to good use.
And I don't know about you, but I saw this yesterday. And like Marjorie Greene and like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and everybody else, this is disturbing.
Nah, I got to tell you, I've so resolved myself to, like somebody on a fucking roller coaster as the clack is happening, that I'm like, I'm aware I'm on a roller coaster. This is going to be fucked up. This is not a road. I never had any pretense that it was a road. I don't think it, like, any of it is going, is that shocking, no matter how extraordinary the G's feel at certain times. Sorry, I refuse. It's only disturbing or shocking if you didn't know this was already going to fucking happen, which would require you being fucking stupid.
It's actually sickening. And I'm not that guy. I think you know that about me. I'm not really one to be a bleeding heart or to clutch my pearls or to be sanctimonious about
what he means is he doesn't actually give a shit.
This sort of thing. But it's everything about this. It's everything about it. It's bad enough that we are in a war in Iran without a reason, without a plan B, an exit strategy, a plan.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, Donald Trump's a Republican president. Every Republican president has been carrying out the PNAC plan since the mid-90s. Why would he be any different? He started the shit with Syria in his first term specifically, and Iran was just next on the list. Sudan's in there, but it's falling apart on its own, so they could just skip right past it. He's a typical Republican, always was.
It's not enough that we're being lied to about it, that we're doing it for Israel.
By the way, we're not being lied to about it. They honestly don't fucking know. They're lying about elements of it, but that's because they honestly aren't. That's the only way they can deal with reality, is just make shit up. And we're not doing it for Israel. Israel benefits from it, but it also has sort of an equal part danger element for them. It puts a bullseye on their back as well. We're really doing it for MBS and Sheikh Khalifa and the UAE.
Americans are dying, and Trump is totally flippant about that. But it's Easter Sunday,
which is so unlike him.
It's literally the holiest day of the year
for golf. Sorry, what you were saying.
This is what you post.
Well, it was, again, he did it from a golf course. He didn't go anywhere near a church. So,
not happy Easter, not Christ is risen.
Yeah, but he doesn't even know what that means.
Nothing.
Which, by the way, count your blessings. Can you imagine what he would have actually written about actual Easter? His Easter message would have been, people say bad things about the Pharisees and the Jews, but they kind of had it coming. No wonder they got in so much trouble. So good luck to Jesus on being as Trump-like as possible.
You threaten to bomb Iran, which is bad enough by itself, but then it's the profanity. Open up the fucking strait, you crazy bastards. Tomorrow we're bombing all your infrastructure. And then mocking God. And then praise be to Allah. And then mocking God in the middle of it as well.
Yeah, but that's not fair because he mocks God every day. Assholes like Paul White pretend that he's a Christian, or when he can't even say Christianity, you dumb motherfucker. He goes, religion, very important, good business, religion, God, he talks in color forms.
And this is when you realize Trump is evil.
This is when Jeffrey Epstein's wingman, 26 women accusing him of sexual assault. This is when you realize, all right, hey, better late than never, son of a.
He's not a bad president. He's not surrounded by bad advisors or bad personnel or people that are disloyal or not giving him good advice. I've been trying to say this for years. It's him. He is the problem. He has always been the problem.
All right, I got it. Look, I hate this. I don't want to have to do this, but Nick Fuentes gets credit for going where Tucker Carlson is too much of a chicken shit to go. Naming the name, calling out the dude. I don't know what this turns into. I don't know how this, like where this path leads for young Nicholas. But it is wholly different than the maggot sphere. Yeah, MTG's been doing the same thing. Wholly different than the rest of the maggot sphere, like Chowderhead, right? And like Tuckums, who are just scared shitless at the idea of just simply laying the responsibility for the presidential duties and what Trump has done as president at his feet. He's the. I don't watch enough Candace to know if she's done it, but and you don't have to like anything that Nick says. It's just more of a recognition. Sort of like, think of it as a signpost. I don't need to agree with a mile marker when it occurs. It's not, I have no emotional connection to an actual mile marker or a sign that says, be careful digging here. There are wires buried, right? That's not an emotional argument for me. This is, in the same realm of a broken clock or whatever is right twice a day. When Tucker or somebody like this, or Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens or something, says something that is patently obvious about Donald Trump, I have no emotional connection to it at all. I'm not agreeing with them. They're driving by me. They're the ones seeing this mile marker. It's the other way around, right? I've seen a bunch of people go, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Tucker, or I can't believe I'm agreeing with Candace Owens, or I can't believe I'm agreeing with MTG. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Nick Fuentes. You aren't. They're agreeing with you. This is their fucking burden. If you've been right the whole goddamn time, occasionally the stupid train breaks down at the right station so people can get off. So, and well, it's, meanwhile, and, since he tacoed and we're, back to abnormal, Trump killed Charlie Kirk, says Candace Owens. So, maybe we're getting a double whammy here.
Candace Owens has put out a tweet which reads, the Iranian president tweets that he is willing to sacrifice his own life for his people. Donald Trump was willing to sacrifice Charlie Kirk and is willing to sacrifice every American life and livelihood for greater Israel. Who is the animal again?
So Trump is an animal. I think that's terrible. I think it's terrible to call Donald Trump an animal. Animals are lovely. Even the mean ones have a certain majesty about them.
I just ordered some pizza. Not a joke. I'm looking.
Uh-oh. Somebody's got a meeting with Podesta. Pizza's a code word. That's obviously adrenochrome. Obviously, adrenochrome doesn't work.
Looking forward to sitting down. I think I'm going to put on some sports.
Uh-oh. Is that another code? I'm not up on my Pizzagate lingo. Probably. Pizza and sports? Huh?
Because, guys, everything's just absolutely insane.
No, it isn't. No, it really isn't. Like, I got to tell you, I've been having great conversations with my friends and the dear people I work with on the show, CSL and Andrea and our lovely Mark C and Mark P and and Carl Alessi was on the show, and we were talking about NASA, and NASA's going on, the astronauts are on their way back, and we're hoping that they're okay and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, no. There is no similar, like, fuckery on my side of the aisle at all. Like, it doesn't even, like, we're not even in this category. This is your burden, asshole. This has nothing to do with us. That's why I was able to, like, record songs over the last couple of months and start releasing some of them. So, no, life's continuing. It's too important to not. The problem is that you assholes have such a vapid existence, devoid of any reality, devoid of any true connection, and you live in this fucking hollowed out, like, crater emotionally. So, and you only see the world through fucking Twitter, that you think this. The rest of us don't have this problem. Hi, Mrs. K-Orb, Mrs. Corbell. Oh, there you are. Hi, Mrs.
If you live in a world where you genuinely believe that Donald Trump had Charlie Kirk killed.
In a world where Donald Trump had Charlie Kirk killed, one woman stands alone. Well, actually, she sits in a little room behind a laptop, almost recreating Ben Shapiro's show in its entirety.
For the Greater Israel Project.
For the Greater Israel Project.
You need to get off the internet.
Well, on behalf of all humanity, Tim, same to you.
I've heard this many, many times going over the past 10 years with the rise of the woke left.
Aww. Bella.
And how they believe the craziest stories. They believe that Donald Trump dumped his food in the koi fish pond unprompted. That was a lie. They believe.
What? Sorry, I gotta tell you, not being on shitter, I have no idea what these dickheads grind about in the regular.
Believe that Donald Trump said neo-Nazis were very fine people.
Oh, he didn't. He said there were very fine people on both sides, and he was specifically talking about the daughters of the Confederacy, the people that were fighting for, recognition of Confederate leaders under the name, under the guise of heritage, because they want basically monuments to these people up in their towns as sort of a sundown town, warning to black people. And those people are assholes. Also, Donald Trump welcomed the people that were at the Charlottesville thing through the Proud Boys and others to the White House and other gatherings. So he definitely thinks they're very fine people. But they always throw this up as if this answers it.
Was a lie.
No, it wasn't. It was not a lie. The very fine people that he was using as cover were the people who wanted basically monuments to Confederate leaders in towns to scare black people away, to let black people who might move into the city know, what the deal is, what the arrangement is. So we have an understanding. Do you see this guy in the town square? Right. Yeah, he led a bunch of people into battle that were willing to die so your type couldn't live around here. That's what that is. Fuck you.
Now, by all means, you have the unfalsifiable claim where, trust my investigation, Trump had Charlie Kirk killed for Greater Israel.
Also, what a wuss way of of dragging Candace Owens down by saying that she's like the liberal press that criticizes Trump. Like, you couldn't find a bunch of examples of other right-wingers who have said shit about Trump that you disagree with or you didn't like or that asserted it, or are you just avoiding talking about Tucker and Nick and all those other people?
The craziest thing about this campaign
is that we have to listen to either of you,
whatever it may be, is that they're not taking necessarily, for the most part, true things and editing the footage to manipulate stupid people. They are making things up whole cloth and just tricking stupid people.
So maggots are stupid. Okay, I'm with you. Go ahead.
And there are a lot of people that believe it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on your side. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking about it, because that's why it's dividing MAGA, and that's your concern. So you're not worried about other political leanings or whatever. You don't care about other Americans who don't think either of you are worth listening to.
Right now, one of the latest stories, aside from this claim that,
dear God,
Trump sacrificed Kirk, the implication being he either was complicit in or made Charlie Kirk's assassination happen to...
Yeah, that's basically what she's floating there. Yeah. Go get her, Tim. You go, girl. Yes, queen.
Benefit Israel, which literally makes no sense. I'm going to quote Nick Fuentes on this one, guys.
Holy shit.
Oh, the Illuminati planted the wrong gun. Like, that's what you believe. That after Tyler Robinson was caught, the Illuminati planted the wrong gun. Oh, dude, look, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, but also the people who arranged the thing, this is my favorite part of the whole conspiracy thing that she floats, that somebody in Israel and other places, I guess multiple people in Israel, the day before the assassination happened, were looking for, looking up Tyler Robinson's name as Tyler James Robinson, looking up the gun, looking up the coroner, looking up trauma surgeons in the area. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm certain I know what you're thinking, which is how this is just another example of Candace Owens looking at the time when, 8 o'clock where she is, and assuming that 8 o'clock is the same over there. So that in Israel, when somebody Googles something and you look at it on your time scale, it happens at the same 8 o'clock, and that would be before it all happened and not because the earth spins. I get it, but I have to tell you guys, tap the brakes, because this is fun. We don't need to help these assholes. All right.
Of course I don't. But there is an Occam's razor analysis of this. The idea that Donald Trump had Charlie Kirk killed when Charlie Kirk was making pro-Israel content to convince Gen Z to support Israel. It's just weird.
Yeah, well, I think the theory was that he had stopped or was going to stop right before they wanted to do the war. That's what she's selling. So I don't know that that helps you at all. I mean, I don't want to add fuel to the fire between you guys. I'm just pointing out that,
It's just all very weird. Now,
well, yeah, I mean,
we got this one. Before I do, however, we got a great sponsor for you. It is American.
Gen Z can't afford a house anymore. Trump fucked that up for everybody. What the fuck kind of... All right. Anyways, skip. Why are you buying a house if the world's going to end anyways? I don't understand it.
Which revealed that Charlie Kirk was killed by a small explosive device at the order of Israel, and that Trump knew. Gee, you think?
I'm sorry. It's sad that when somebody gets assassinated. It's wrong. That's not what I'm laughing at. I'm not laughing at... Let me be clear. I'm not laughing at the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm laughing at these guys chewing each other's assholes and doing it so flippantly. This account is the Patriotic Blonde. I'm Breck Worsham is her name, I guess her real name. And by the way, Candace Owens floated the idea that his neck exploded from the inside out, specifically because there was a hydraulic tube under his chair that blew air up through his asshole and out his neck. I'm not kidding. She floated that one. So now it's there was also an exploding lavalier story, and then people pointed out that he wasn't wearing one. And then not there anyways, I guess. And and then now it's this.
It's just what?
welcome to the party, pal.
Don't get me wrong. You know,
is there another way to get you?
Oh, look, I have the exasperation and the flustering of these things.
The flustering of these things, sure. Yeah.
By all means, make extraordinary claims, but those require extraordinary evidence, of which
it's so true. It's so true, and so poetically true.
There is none. There is certainly conjecture, and a lot of people have pointed out, Tim, we're just asking questions. Indeed, you.
Well, no, I would argue that G, you think, isn't a question. It's verbal irony to make a statement. Yeah. Again, I don't want to cause a rift between you and the patriotic blonde.
Are just asking questions, but a whole heck of a lot of you are drawing conclusions from questions being asked.
Yeah, you guys should stop that, I guess.
And that is not how any rational mind approaches any of these stories.
Yeah, but you're talking about Trump voters. Bye. So that's fairly hilarious. And that is a good portion of how these dickheads are spending their days right now. Also, speaking of dickheads and how they're spending their days, ladies and gentlemen, here's J.D. Vance, who was, I guess, sent off to Hungary for Doomsday. And this is his response about how long the war is going to last. I don't know if he's going to give 2 weeks or not. It just says very shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The clock is ticking to tonight when the deadline looms for avoiding bombing infrastructure in Iran.
Also, why are you, it's a big decision. You'd think you'd be back there in part with the president, but you're over here giving a speech on behalf of another foreign leader to help him get reelected, which while accusing Ukraine, when you meant Russia, of putting their thumb on, the elections of other countries, which is, you said that while you were actually doing that specifically in Hungary. I'm sorry, go ahead.
To the Stone Ages, as the president has said. Do you have any new information to believe that a deal can be reached by then? And secondly, there's been some rhetoric from this administration, your administration, about this war, God supporting the United States in this war and the strikes against Iran being part of God's will. Do you agree with that? And what do you make of the idea that God is on the side of the U.S. in these strikes?
Well, so you asked if there's new information, and I don't, unless I...
Give me the mic back. You don't get another question like that, ma'am.
The text message from Steve. Well, I do have a text message from Steve Witkoff. Wouldn't you like to know the subject of this message? But no, I need to read it first before I talk about it. But here's what time is it in the United States right now? Okay, that makes sense. All right. Okay, so...
Yeah, it's hashtag taco is what it fucking said.
So, Natalie, on this question of the deal, I really think there are two pathways.
There's two ways this could go. It's going one way right now, but I don't know which way it's going. So we could be nuking the fucking place right now. But I'm the vice president and the second stupidest one in history. And that's just because I've been reelected. I can't run again with him.
The president's been very clear about this. There are two pathways that this thing is ultimately going to end. First of all, the United States has largely accomplished its military objectives.
Largely.
There are still some things that we'd like to do, for example, on Iranian ability to manufacture weapons that we'd like to do a little bit more work on militarily.
Yeah, we just got a little tinkering around the edges.
But fundamentally, the military objectives of the United States have been completed. So that means, as the president has said, very shortly, this war is going to conclude. And I think
yeah, that's not what he said.
The nature of the conclusion is ultimately up to the Iranians. I think there really are two pathways.
No, it really isn't.
And I'm oversimplifying this a little bit, but I think pathway one
definitely
is where the Iranians decide they're going to be a normal country. They're not going to fund terrorism anymore. They're going to be part of the world system of commerce and exchange.
Sorry. So let's just say in 2 weeks, that's what they say. You're going to tell me that this president will take them at their word. And I mean, I guess he's so desperate to have, the illusion of a win that they could just go, he took it. We'll just start this shit again. He's not paying fucking attention. He'll have to admit that we we broke the deal to attack us again, and that he's not a good deal maker and he won't do that. So yeah, just tell him. Who gives a shit?
And that's going to mean much better things for them economically. It's going to mean better things for the peace and safety of the world. It's going to mean a lot of good things for a lot of people all over the planet.
Right. Who polices that agreement?
That's option A. Okay. Option B is if the Iranians don't come to the table and they stay committed to terrorism, to terrorizing their neighbors, not just Israel, but of course their Arab neighbors too.
Yeah, but now do Cuba, what we're going to do in Cuba next. I mean, while you were talking about terrorizing neighbors, we did Venezuela, and now we're doing Cuba.
Then the economic situation in Iran is going to continue to be very, very bad, and frankly, it will probably get worse. And so what the president has asked his entire team to do, particularly Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, is to figure out
how to game this for as much monetary game this for as much monetary gain as possible.
What are the contours of a potential deal? What are they willing to do? Because militarily, it frankly doesn't matter one way or the other to us. It's fundamentally a question of what does this look like afterwards, and that has been what the negotiation has been focused on.
So again, I don't get this. So they're just supposed to be a country of 90 million people with no military. We're looking at a straight up like post World War II Japan with Iran. Now we did security guarantees of Japan after World War II, so that the Chinese, who had quite frankly a bone to pick with the Japanese after the war, go watch anything about the rape of Nanking and of Nanjing, and we'll talk. Is that and I mean that's how we ended up on Okinawa. So. Are we going to have, is the U.S. going to have a base on Karg Island specifically to watch Iran?
And the president's also been very clear that while the Iranians are trying to exact as much economic cost through the Straits of Hormuz, the United States has the ability to extract much greater economic costs on Iran than Iran has on an ability to extract costs on us or on our friends in the world. So,
yeah, but they don't even have to kill people to do it on their end, and they can play the victim, and then we can only exert more harm on their country by killing more of their people, which the regime doesn't mind, because it both helps them in a jingoistic patriotic sense, but it also is probably going to kill a lot of the people that would rise up in the first place, because the vast majority of the Iranian people are kind of against the regime in that regard if they thought they could be out from under it.
I hope that they're smart. The president has set a deadline for about 12 hours from now in the United States. We're going to find out, but there's going to be a lot of negotiation between now and then, and I'm hopeful that it gets to a good resolution.
It didn't get to a resolution. He punted again 2 weeks.
So the second question you asked about...
There was literally no agreement. The Pakistanis just said, please don't do this. And they went, okay.
As God on our side, as God on... whose side? I think my attitude towards military conflict has always been to pray that we're on God's side. And my own view is that...
well, you might want to... I was about to say hit your knees harder, but all right.
We're doing this for the right reasons. We're doing this because we don't want a regime that has committed acts of terrorism to have it the world's most dangerous weapon.
Okay, so the U.S. and Israel are demilitarizing? Is that the joke that has to happen?
Because that would mean a lot of innocent people dead. I certainly hope that God agrees with the decision that Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. But
well, if he did, doesn't he have a couple of tools in his arsenal to prevent that? I mean, earthquakes? I don't know.
I'll keep praying about it.
It's a little hard to keep your centrifuges balanced when you're trying to refine your uranium. If God keeps shaking the ground, just flicking your mountains, as it were.
And if he gives me a good answer, you'll be the first to know, Natalie.
If God speaks to me, I'll give you a call in the middle of the night. It'll be a weird call, and I might be crying. All right, this is okay. Let's see. I don't know if Trump did. I know Trump posted Yeah, I don't know if we're at the end of the show anyway, so we'll all just go and watch it on the news, I guess. But I don't know if Trump has actually made a statement that about him choking. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, and I think that I might, is that we're all benefiting from the fact that Trump always chickens out.
Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Taco, taco, go taco, go taco. Raise your taco, 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 go taco, go taco. Raise your taco.
Yeah, so don't be afraid. It's all in God's hands, everyone. Just, when you're about to go to bed tonight and you're kneeling by your bedside, what you're doing is none of my business. But if you could squeeze out a prayer, do it for, just say, Lord, if I may, and I think I can, Lord, blessings be unto you, and all of your people, and by people I mean peoples. That I personally want to tell you that I'm very grateful that there are chicken shits in the world, and a lot of people that are full of bluster and blubbery and malarkey, and that those people are occasionally in charge of our country, Lord, and that they will sometimes say a lot of awful and then back down to the last second because, quite frankly, they just can't manage the erection. And so, Lord, thank you for making this one of those times. Amen. Pass the mashed potatoes. This is... I don't know what the CNN statement that Trump is bitching about. Okay, this is the okay. This is the official statement from Iran. You can tell because it's on Iran letterhead or something. This is the hold on. Quit it. Grab what are you doing? Okay, here you go. There it is. Tehran, 7 April 2026. On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, His Excellency, I guess Prime Minister of Pakistan Sharif, and His Excellency Field Marshal Munir for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request of PM Sharif and his tweet, and considering the request by the U.S. for negotiation based on his 15-point proposal, as well as announcement by POTUS about, they call him POTUS? About the acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as basis for negotiation. I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations for a period of 2 weeks. Safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible by a coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. Sayed Abbas Araghchi, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Islamic Republic of Iran. Yeah, this is totally real. Yeah, I buy it. Yeah. I mean, what more could you want? Announcement by POTUS. Good God. Type something up. Let's pretend. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible by coordination with due consideration of technical limitations, meaning that they're going to charge people to go through. Fuck you. So I'm guessing that that CNN's statement that he got all pissed about was that. We'll have to look it up. All right, before I go, let's look this up real quick. I want to see what he's bitching about. So this is a response. He goes, here it is. The alleged statement put out by CNN World News is a fraud. As CNN well knows, the false statements were linked to a fake news site from Nigeria. Okay, so they were apparently promised $1 million, but they just needed your PIN number. And of course, immediately picked up by CNN and blared out as a legitimate headline. The official statement by Iran was just released and posted on Truth below. Authorities are looking to determine whether or not a crime was committed on the issuance of the fake CNN World statement, or was it a sick rogue player? CNN is being ordered to immediately withdraw this statement with full apologies for their, as usual, terrible, quote, reporting. Results of the investigation will be announced in the near future. President Donald J. Trump. So I'm guessing that they posted that Iran basically was like, get fucked. So, but again, he's just declaring victory and leaving. I mean, that's what some people have been hoping he would do. So, CNN, let's go here. Breaking news. This is U.S. live updates. Iran's military will coordinate passive visitors. Cease Trump's like Israeli. Now, is it legal? Trump threatens bridges. Yeah, I don't know what he's bitching about. They seem to be carrying the message. Oil prices drop and stocks rally after ceasefire announcement. Visualizing U.S. Israel, the cascading global impact. The U.S. Iran agreed to do it. Here's their story. Hold on. Excuse me. Pardon. U.S. Iran agreed to 2-week ceasefire. Iran says its military will coordinate passage through Strait of Hormuz. Just in response to 10-point plan. What's the 10-point plan? Iran claims victory, says it forced the U.S. to accept 10-point plan. Right? That's what he's mad about. Iran says it has achieved a great victory and forced the United States to accept its 10-point plan, according to a statement from Iran's Supreme National Security Council. As part of the plan, the U.S. has in principle agreed to lift all primary and secondary sanctions against Iran and to withdraw U.S. combat forces from all bases in the region. It has also agreed to accept Iran's nuclear enrichment and recognize its continued control over the Strait of Hormuz, according to the... Okay, yeah, that didn't happen. The enemy in its unfair, unlawful, and criminal war against the Iranian nation has suffered an undeniable, historic, and crushing defeat. Our hand remains on the trigger, and at the slightest mistake by the enemy, a full-force response will be delivered. U.S. military has paused strikes inside Iran, U.S. officials says. Trump preparing for in-person Iran talks, likely involving Vance. Right? This is 21 minutes ago. He gets to go straight there from Hungary. Good luck, dummy. Israeli officials have concerns about U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement. No shit. Iran's military will coordinate passes through Strait of Hormuz during ceasefire, Iran says. Maybe he's mad about that part? How U.S. stock and crude oil reacts. Okay, there you go. Israel has also agreed to a temporary ceasefire, White House says. Trump agrees to 2-week ceasefire. They're subject to Strait. Okay, subject to an opening. And again, open... You got to pay a toll to go through. Is that the news that's going to happen? Yes. Good gore. I mean, obviously, the whole thing is fucking bananas. So, so be it. If it means we're not at war right now, for the time being, cool. I'm all right. You got to take the wins that come as you can. So. On our way out the door, let's see. Should I play Blue Marble? Oh, no, I'm going to let you guys go listen to Blue Marble. I'll just, rather than play it on here, that'll help push some audience for it. So this one's called Downside Out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. Much love. Here we go. All right, hold on. There we go.
Wall still warm with a ghost of us. Name in my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two. Like a bruise leaves a mark on you. Don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see. You hear that too? Or is it just me? Downside out! Downside out! I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out! Downside out! I need to go where it feels so right. same sad song, empty space that was here all along. Every step is a borrowed shape, every second a vain escape. Laughter crying out for sin, summer stealing the autumn wind. There's a face that I almost know through a window where I won't go. If you're there, don't let me see. Downside out! Downside out! I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out! So it wouldn't ruin. Now it moves in the things I do, in my hands, in the way I speak, in the cracks when I try to sleep. And you sit like you always did, never answer, just nod your head. If I reach, do you disappear? Sound, I get lost when you're not around, and I don't know